Welcome back to Bobblehead Homestead. I am Jeff. Today is Wednesday. I am taking my afternoon break from my job, but I'm not taking a break from getting stuff done. There is a backhoe along with Drew and his nephew Austin. Yep, Drew's over here finishing up some stuff, and I thought I might as well do a video. Took me 10 minutes to get the GoPro working because you got to take everything apart and the battery out, and then yeah, I'm not a fan of these GoPros. Alrighty then. Yeah, Drew's working. Let's take a peek at his first project. There we go. There's the backhoe. And first up, this hole was not filled in yet for the electric, where the electric line went in. So he just filled up that hole, and now around the septic tank where it sunk after they installed it, the soil settled. So now he is building that back up so that it is ground level. And then you'll probably have to go over to his channel to see what else he's gonna work on. He might be out there. That's what he might do. All right, I'm gonna go find someplace quiet and talk for a minute. Oh yeah, Drew's tooling around on the little skid steer, bucket full of logs. I want to point out this, my neighbor next door, in between Jen and Wiley, he came over and took the bumper and the fender off of my donor car. So that is part of the battle. And I have two of these Toyota Sequoias. So yeah, and that's why I have two of these Toyota Sequoias, because I needed a fender and a headlight and a bumper. And so he took those off so we can get ready to change it out on mine. I bought that and I got it cheaper because it was all dented up and stuff like that. So yeah, that thing would have been so much money if I hadn't done that. So yeah, that happened. We've got a cloudy day today. It's probably low 80s. Humidity is already kicking in. I was sweating. Yeah, time to start getting used to it. All right, my last video, where did I leave off? Yeah, there were quite a few people misunderstood me, and that's because I'm all kinds of scatterbrained these days. But I said it was the hardest year of my life, which is different than saying it's a bad year or it's the worst year of my life. Or I said it was hard. You can have a hard year that's a great year. You can have an easy year that's horrible. So that's what I was trying to get across, is this has been the hardest year. Not that it's bad, it's just been hard because, yeah, I just gone 10 days without videos. I was trying to explain why I don't have any time to do YouTube. I've been doing political work for over 3 months now, and it is, it's every day, you know, all day. It's, well, let me tell you what I was doing 20 years ago. So 20 years ago in 2004, I was working for the Libertarian Party of Illinois. I was one of 5 full-time employees in the United States for the Libertarian Party, and I was working for the state of State Party of Illinois. We were putting our candidate for president and U.S. Senate on the ballot. I was also the campaign manager for our U.S. Senate candidate, and that was 20 years ago. That was a pretty hard year too, but I didn't have Parkinson's 20 years ago. So part of my job back then, to get a candidate on the ballot in Illinois, you need 25,000 valid signatures in 90 days. And by valid, that means they sign a petition saying, yes, I think this candidate should be allowed to run for office. Republicans and Democrats don't have to do that. It's just everybody else. So, and then they sign the petition. Well, and then you which is what we're supposed to do with ballots, is compare that signature on the petition sheet with their signature on their voter registration card. We're supposed to do that in our elections, where you sign your ballot and they're supposed to check your signature on the ballot versus the signature on your voter registration cards. And yeah, so 20 years ago, you know, that's when I'm learning all this stuff. You know, they care when it's competition trying to get on the ballot. They really care about those signatures. When it's you know, comparing signatures on an actual ballot, well, yeah, then the two parties, they don't care about that. They only care about those signatures when they're trying to kick people off the ballot. But anyway, so I ran that petition drive in Illinois. 25,000 signatures in 90 days. You got to collect way more than 25,000. Rule of thumb, you need to collect about 50,000, because they're going to say, oh, this guy Joe Smith signed the petition Joe Smith, but on his voter registration card he signed it Joseph Smith, so that petition signature doesn't count. All kinds of this stuff. So when you're running a petition drive, you got to hire petitioners. You're not going to get volunteers to do everything. I went out and got 3,000 signatures myself while I was running this petition drive. Our U.S. Senate candidate that year, he went out and got 5,000 signatures himself. And then, you know, I was hiring petitioners. You got to find places for them to petition. Where are the people at? Where you can, you know, large groups of people where you can ask them to sign a petition. So that has to be done. You're looking, combing through everything. And the internet wasn't as what it was in 2004, what it is now. That job's a lot easier now. You can get online and find out where all the festivals are and where the people are. Graduations, high school graduations, college graduations. You know, you're finding where the people are so you can send your petitioners there. You're also finding, like, county fairs, places where you can buy a booth and people are walking around and you can get signatures that way. So it's just, and you're on a timeline. So like in Illinois, you got 90 days. In Georgia, I think it's 60 days. New York, I'm not sure. But it's usually, you know, somewhere in between 60 and 100. Every state is different. Every state is different. So that's why, you know, you can't, I took too many days off and I lost one job. I'm working for all kinds of stuff. It's not one job with one employer. It's a bunch of different ones. And I lost one because I was taking too many, and they can't afford people to take days off because you're on a deadline. And it's, you are scrambling. So that's what I was doing 20 years ago. That can give you an idea kind of what I'm doing now. There are candidates out there who are not with the two power parties, who would like to enjoy our constitutional republic and participate in our democratic elections. And they have all kinds of hoops to jump through in order to do that. And that's, I've got the experience on it. It started, you know, 20 years ago. So that's what's going on today. I will say that RFK Jr., he's trying to run. He just turned in 135,000 signatures in New York yesterday. So that part is done. Illinois is still going. Georgia's still going. There's like 7 other states where there's still petitioning happening. And then I read an article this morning that RFK Jr. spent $1.1 million just in the state of New York just to get on that one state's ballot. 135,000 signatures, and that's a big task. That is a big organizational effort, and so yeah, that might give you an idea. And so if I take days off, I'm risking losing my job, and so, you know, that's just how it goes. And yeah, this is all. I'd rather not be doing that. That's one of the things that's making this year hard, is I've been doing that for 3 months now, 10, 12-hour days most of the time. And I'm living here and I ain't even got any time to do the stuff that I want to get done here. So that's been frustrating. you know, just the stress of not getting moved and not, you know, having the income coming in from my business. So that's been stressful. But I know that the hard work's paying off. I know people are, oh, you shouldn't complain. You've got, yeah, I know. You can still complain about anything and everything. I try not to, but yeah, life is hard. It doesn't mean it's a bad year. It, hopefully, you know, by the end of it, it's going to be great. But it's been hard because I'm working more than a full-time job. I'm moving, and I'm not just moving, I'm developing a piece of raw land, moving a house, putting in electric and water and septic and clearing trees and hugelculture, and moving a whole chicken business. You know, it's not just moving, so it's been hard. It has been hard in many different aspects. I've had much worse years. I've had busier years, like 20 years ago. That was probably one of the busiest years I have had. But even then, that's only a 90-day period. And then it doesn't end then. And then, yeah, anyway. So I just want to clarify. I said the hardest year of my life, not the worst year of my life. And there is a big difference in that, because hard years can be great years. It might be a hard year because you're working hard to reach your goals or get to where you want to be. Drew just came over to talk to me for a second, and they all ran in the coop or behind the coop, and a bunch of chickens. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I was talking about my job 20 years ago, executive director for the Libertarian Party of Illinois and campaign manager for our U.S. Senate candidate. His opponent was Barack Obama. That was when he was running for U.S. Senate. Prior to that, Obama was a state senator. So I was a campaign manager for the Libertarian. I am not associated with that party anymore. They nominated Bob Barr in 2008, and that was the end of it for me. But I was young and impressionable and, you know, trying to save the world. But I still stuck in politics. I stopped working for them in, 2005. And then I started working for like single issue think tanks and you know, political action committees, stuff like that. Anti-war, ballot access, election laws, tax foundation, and you know, looking at taxing poor people. That was one of the ideas I had way back then was forming a group called Stop Taxation of Poor People. So that kind of gives you an idea of where I was back then. But then I stayed active just on single issues or campaigns, you know, mostly revolving around election stuff. And well, that gets into, you know, that was my experience in Illinois. And every state has a different method of getting on the ballot. And that's what some of the candidates are going through right now. Like some states, you just have to pay a filing fee. Some states, you get a choice. You can get, who is it? I can't remember what state off the top of my head, but like you can pay you can go get 10,000 signatures, or you can pay a $10,000 filing fee. And believe it or not, it's cheaper. That filing fee is cheaper than it does to get 10,000 signatures. And then they'll have requirements on you have to have 1,000 $10 donations. So if somebody so in that case, in like that state, then you've got to do fundraising phone calls where you're trying to get $10 donations from 1,000 people. And then those 1,000 people, it has to be spread around the congressional district. So if they have 10 congressional districts, you have to get 100 donations from each congressional district. You know, other states, you really can't run as an independent at all. You have to form a new political party. So in that case, you are registering voters to be a member of your new political party. So, and you can do a lot of that over the phone. You know, people contact the campaign through the website, blah, blah, blah. So that's going on right now. who is it, Iowa. You can either get signatures or you like form your own new political party, and you have to have a convention with so many people at it. So you're making phone calls and stuff like that. So it's just, yeah, there's just a ton of work. And yeah, I've been getting some pushback on this. It's not fair to Peter. It's not fair. You need to take days off. You need to take days off work so Peter can get moved. Look, man, I understand the frustration of not being able to move when you need to. I totally get it, but this isn't, you know, a job where I got vacation days and sick days and stuff like that. If I take too many days off, I lose it. I've already had that happen, and I actually ended up training my replacement. And that's another thing that's going on now. Everybody out there getting petition signatures, well, you have to train them. You have to come up with a good script depending on the state. So they have to be trained on how that goes. And then the petitioners, they're gonna run into people calling the cops on them. Hey, you can't petition here, blah, 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 blah. And then, so they need somebody to call who knows the legal precedent to, you know, yeah, I won't get into that. But yeah, it's just tons of busy work. It's happening every single day. They're on a deadline. If I take days off, I lose a job. I can't afford to lose the income. And yeah, so that's just how it is. And that's what's making this year so hard is, you know, the side jobs. Hopefully I never have to do this again. You know, and that's the frustrating part is I come to Arkansas to get away from all that stuff because it's not a full-time job. It's, you know, presidential campaigns are only once every 4 years. There are other campaigns every 2 years, but there's not as much activity during those years. And then, you know, in between the election cycles, there's no work in it. So, yeah, it was ups and downs as far as income goes in that world, and I wanted to get out of that. So, yeah, but I'm not yet. But that's why I'm working so hard this year, so that I can get out of that once and for all. And yeah, and we were just gabbing with Drew today, but as soon as I'm done with this stuff, I'm gonna try to go, you know, a lot harder on YouTube, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see if my GoPro cooperates. But yeah, I just can't afford to lose any jobs right now, and it'll be ending, well, like I mentioned earlier, New York just turned in 135,000 signatures yesterday, so that was a big project that is now done. Now there can be challenges to those signatures. I was talking there, you're going to compare the signature on the sheet to the voter registration cards, and I've gone through this in Illinois where you have to go down to the election offices, and you'll have a group of like a dozen people just sitting there with employees from the election office and whoever it is that's trying to kick you off the ballot, and you're going through 135,000 signatures one by one and seeing if that's a valid signature or not. So coordinating that, you got to find the people who are going to sit there day after day. That, you know, it can be a 3-week period to make it through that many signatures. And so you got to find, yeah, anyway, it's a lot of work that is going on right now, and I'm kind of involved in a lot of that stuff. And so yeah, it's hard. It's not bad, but it is hard. All right, what else can I talk about? I don't even know. Jen has a live show right now, and some folks that came to our meetup, I'd actually met them before locally here in Boonville. They're like Bobblehead Homestead, but they've got a channel, so I'll be hooking up with them, Homestead Outlaws. And then my other neighbors just down the street here, they just started their channel, Black Sheep Project. I'll be getting them on. See, I've got all these friends and they're having fun, and I'm missing out on everything right now, and that's frustrating. That makes it hard. Not having any fun makes it hard. But yeah, it's just, yeah, it's not the worst year of my life. I've got Jen and Wiley right there, and now I've met some new other great neighbors right there, and we met some other neighbors that are just down the road a little bit, and I am set up for, you know, a much better life than I could have ever dreamed up. But in order to pull that off, I got to work hard right now, and that's what I'm doing, is working hard to you know, pay the bills and move myself forward. So maybe that explains it. I'm not as scatterbrained today. I'm still scatterbrained. That's one of the frustrating parts of having this other job, is it's taking up all my brain capacity, doing all that stuff, and yeah, I'm not able to use my brain for homesteading things. But I'll be getting there. I will be getting there. Hopefully by the end of June, most of the stuff will be out of the way, and I can stop taking any more new jobs. I want to finish the ones that I've already got, because you never know, 4 years from now, you just never know. I don't want to burn any bridges, so I don't want to quit on any jobs. There's been, I tell you what, if not for PayPal this year, this might have been one of the worst years of my life if it were not for PayPal. So I'm thank you. One person in particular has just saved my life this year, so I don't have to work as long. I want to finish what I'm doing now, but I don't have to take any more jobs. Thank you to the people that are helping me out in that regard. So yeah, by the end of this month I should be winding down. The big one was yesterday, and I'm giving it away what I'm doing, but there's still some states out there that are working hard. But yeah, so that's how it's going. So yeah, unfortunately I'm not doing much homesteading stuff. I'm in front of the computer on the phone all day, every day, and it's all right. I mean, I've done it before. It's you know, not really, anyway. Now my brain's getting scrambled again. Should I give you a sneak peek on what Drew is doing right now? He's filming, so I don't know if I want to spoil his video. But they're working on hugelkultur. There was one hugelkultur trench that had too much wood in it, and one that doesn't have enough wood in it. And I'll leave it at that. All right, thanks for watching. Sorry for any confusion on the last video. I know, complaining and whining, and I try not to do that, but that's life, dudes. That's just life. And my point was not to say I'm having a bad year. It was just to say I'm having a hard year because of everything that's going on with the job and the moving and all that stuff. All right, I will sign off for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everything. It's going to be a great year, but it's hard. Take it easy, everybody.